Hey guys, we're out here in the foothills of Boise, Idaho. So I've got my buddy Jeff Drawe here. I had seen Jeff's 2020 500 EXC 6 days edition on a Facebook photo. So I called Jeff up straight away. I was like, man, I want to see what you've done to this bike. So we brought it out here and Jeff's gonna walk us through some of the things he's done to this bike to make it an even better bike than the stock 500 EXC. All right, Jeff, so before we get into your bike, just give us a quick breakdown of what your day job is, because I think some people will be quite happy to hear that.
So I've been in the military for 21 years, and this is my second service. I flew in the Navy for 9 years and then left active duty Navy in 2009. We found our way up to Idaho as fate would have it, and I found my way into my second service, which is the Idaho Army National Guard, an exceptional organization. And by trade, I fly Blackhawks and Apaches, and we lost our Apaches in 2015. So we kind of moved on from there, and that's what I do. Today, my full-time job is the Secretary of the General Staff, so I'm the Commanding General's aide full-time and a battalion commander of a schoolhouse.
Well, from everyone out there, firstly, thanks for your service. So now let's get into your bike. So Jeff, being as organized as he is, printed out this really cool list of all the stuff that he did to his bike. So let's start with the Proline suspension. Tell us a little bit about what you did with that.
So Proline suspension is honestly the #1 upgrade that I make to all of my bikes. Proline is here local in Boise. It is owned and managed by a gentleman named Chad Irwin, and he is the suspension whisperer. Everybody around these parts knows about Chad, and he custom tuned suspension, so it's been resprung and revalved for my own personal type of riding, which is Idaho single track. I also wanted to increase the spring rate to accommodate the additional weight that I have on the back when I have my Tusk Excursion panniers on the back, which aren't mounted today. But I tell him every time when I walk in what type of riding I want to do, and Chad takes the rest.
So looking at the top, starting from the top down here, we have this Trailtech Voyager Pro. Now, I'm very familiar with Trailtech. Why did you choose the Trailtech Voyager Pro?
So if you're not riding Trailtech, you're doing it wrong. In Idaho, it's it's a safety issue for us. I track and manage all of my rides to make sure I have enough fuel, and so we can go back and connect the trails. The vast trail system in Idaho is mind-boggling. I also have the indicator lights up here at the top because it is street legal. If you want to do a ride like the Tour of Idaho or a BDR or the Grit series by Rideaho, having all of the lights up top is really critical. But getting back to the Trailtech, you can't beat both the front end graphical user interface and then on the back end what Trailtech has managed to do to make uploading and downloading your information to this unit that much easier.
So let's stay up here on the handlebars. You've got these Cycra wraparound handguards that go down into, I think, into a BRP clamp that also has a space for a Scott's damper. So you've got a lot of stuff going on right here.
Right. So up front, I ride standing up 90% of the time, and I want the most neutral stance that I can get out of my bike. And the wraparound handguards, Cycras, are a must-have for me. #1, they look great. They're the black anodized aluminum. They definitely protect your hands. You can see this one. I mean, I don't take it easy on this bike, so it's absolutely critical to have these up front. And you're right, it ties in. It's not quite part of the BRP submount, but it's right next to it. They stay in place. They don't droop if you drop the bike. They don't break. The front guards are replaceable, so you can always keep your bike looking fresh. Down below the BRP submount and the Scott's damper, again, have these on all of my bikes. You only need to hit a tree once at speed to know how incredibly important the Scott's damper is. That's a lifesaver. And then you're right, the bars are, I have a 38mm riser on here just for that increased height. That way my shoulders don't get tight, and it's a much more neutral stance for me.
So up here too, you told me you've got the stock Renthal grips on, which are nice and soft.
Right.
We've got this cool little double take mirror.
Love the double take.
Double take's awesome. And then we've got this Get ignition switch here. Tell us a little bit about what you've done with that and how it ties into the motor.
the Get ECU, this is the ignition switch, is tied into the Get ECU, which is made by Athena. And Mike Spurgeon at Takamoto Co. is the impetus behind this bike build. It has the Takamoto Co. tunes in here. The number 1 setting is for the tight technical single track. The number 2 setting is for the wider, wide open desert riding.
Okay.
So it's really great. You can definitely tell the difference between the 2 tunes, and it really makes the bike much more compliant in the technical single track, and then just balls to the wall, on the high setting for your desert riding.
So speaking of desert riding, judging by the size of this tank, you could probably ride all day with this thing, right?
I'm estimating anywhere between 150 to 200 miles of range, which is why we needed that, for your BDRs, your tour of Idaho, where that range, it gets rid of that range anxiety. So it's a 3.9 gallon tank. I always choose the clear so I can see the level of fuel. Makes it easy. The Acerbis tank was so nice. It's very form-fitting. I don't even know it's there. When I'm riding that tight technical single track, it's like it's not even there.
Yeah, so I have a 3.1, I think, or 3.2 on one of my bikes, and this thing, it's got more capacity, obviously, but it doesn't really seem that much bigger. And then looking at the top right here, you guys probably can't see it from the camera, but I've done a little close-up of it. Tell us about this little vent hose.
So free flow hose is a great little addition. Mike at Takamoto, he really raved about this. If the bike turns over, you don't want it to leak fuel, especially on you, the rider. You definitely don't want to leak it out in the backcountry. So it's got a little ball valve in here. When it turns over, that little ball valve will shift and close off the flow of fuel out of the bike. So really nice safety feature.
So staying up the top part of the bike right here, it's one of my favorite things I ever see on a bike is a seat concept seat. So tell us why you chose this.
Just like you said, the added comfort of a seat concepts, the grippy top, the good looks, and the overall improvement in comfort on this bike cannot be understated. You throw down 1,000 miles on this bike in a week, and you definitely want some improved comfort in that seat. And seat comfort, or seat concepts rather, never let you down.
Seat comfort.
Seat comfort. That's what
called it that.
That's exactly right.
So on the back of the seat concept seat, you've got this strap attached right here. Who makes this strap, and why do you have this on your bike?
Moose Racing makes this, and it's a tugger strap. I usually have one in the front. I don't have it on today because I wanted to show you the Takamoto Co. wraparound LED signals, which we'll get to in a second. The tugger strap is incredibly important. You get into a sticky situation where you can't really get a good grip on the bike, or the angles are just off, or if you just need to tie off on something. I've actually tied off on that, which is a really nice neutral pulling location. And you can tow a bike if you need to, but more importantly, you can control the bike with the handlebars, reach back, you're not stretching, and it's a solid mounted tugger strap.
Yeah,
it's great.
You're not trying to pick your bike up under here. Sometimes it's sharp, or
right
under your pipe and melt your glove. So speaking of your pipe right here, you've got this Acerbis little, what is it, neoprene? What is that?
It's silicone.
Yep. Neoprene, that's a wetsuit.
Yeah, that would
silicone.
Work too. Yeah.
So the silicone little guard right here, and you told me that when you put your Tusk bags on, this actually works as a little bit of a heat shield too.
It's great. Your pipe. Exactly. I went with the silicone wrap because number one, it improves the colorway back here, adds a little bit of balance, and that's just me. But the silicone wrap, it doesn't mar up your silencer, and I didn't want to tear it up, so went with the silicone silencer wrap. And I've had a lot of questions about does it provide enough heat protection for a set of panniers on the back, and it absolutely does. It's great.
So staying at the back of the pipe right here, we've got this Fastway tip on here. Tell us a little bit about that.
When the 500 comes stock, it's really clogged up. It's really closed up in the filter. It's got a screen on the air filter, and the end cap on the silencer is just tiny. So the bike is not breathing nearly as well as it can. So one of the very first improvements that I always make is I take the screen off the silencer, which is the Uber air filter kit from Takamoto Co., and then the Fastway Pro Motor Billet end cap, and it just opens it up both on the intake and the exhaust. Now the end cap also comes with the required spark arrestor, and we want to make sure we don't start any forest fires, and it's great. It's a one-stop shop, super easy to put in. You can do it in probably about a half an hour in your garage, and it really opens up the bike.
So looking down here, another thing that I really like seeing on the bike is a Recluse auto clutch. So tell us why you've got a Recluse on this bike. I mean, for me, it's because I'm lazy and I need all the help I can get, but you're probably a better rider than
No,
me.
for me it's cheating, and it's great because I need that in my advanced age. And the Radius CX just does just a bang-up job on the 500s. Immediate power delivery. I really love the way that it delivers the torque on the 500. You get in a sticky spot, you can start the bike in gear without pulling in the clutch. You know, if you're in a sticky situation where you can't get to the clutch, you know how we are. We're hanging off the sides of hills up here in Idaho.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I've needed this more times than I care to admit to be honest. But I wouldn't go anywhere without my Recluse.
So down at the bottom half of the bike there too, we've got some other protection items. We've got the skid plate, we've got a carbon pipe guard, and also you've got a brake snake on your brake lever.
Yeah, you know, if you've never needed a brake snake, then you don't know the benefits of having a brake snake. But you rip off one rear brake lever, and you're going to put a brake snake on your bike. Believe me.
And
ask me how I know, right? And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're the same. But as you alluded to, that the P3 carbon fiber pipe guard. I mean, it's a beautiful pipe guard, number one, and you got to look good, right?
And it looks like you've made a little cutout right there.
I did, and so I did that because it didn't quite have enough spacing to remove the oil cap without removing the pipe. So I just took a Dremel, I Dremeled it out, super clean, really easy to do, but it really enhanced the usability of it. Pipe guard fits like a glove on the bike. It's a beautiful pipe. Down below we have the Molecule Motorsports plastic skid plate, and I really like this. Again, Takamoto Co. I know I keep going back to that. But Mike Spurgeon, thank you so much. You were really the impetus behind this bike. I learned everything from watching you, as most of us have that have 500s. But the Molecule Motorsports skid plate is great. Super lightweight, really smooth. The type of plastic that they use really slides well on rocks and logs, and it doesn't give you that jarring feedback when you hit something.
So one thing I see on your bike that I have on my Husky 300 is this heavy-duty fastway kickstand, and I got to tell you that thing's a game changer.
It's bulletproof.
Yeah.
You know, so many times I've seen my friends either rip off their factory kickstand or rip the foot off of the bottom. This thing has a super tough spring on it. It stays well out of the way. Bulletproof aluminum, and I wouldn't put anything else on a bike, especially when you load it up, right, with your luggage and everything else.
Right.
That increased weight, and it gets, you know, a fickle footing, and that just it has a bigger footing on this one as well. So really stable.
So looking at your tires, you got a mismatched set here. So you've got a 216 Shinko fatty front, which I'm very familiar with, and this Motors rear tire. Why do you have two different brands?
When it came to tires, I wanted something that would not only wear well for like a BDR, you know, like the Idaho BDR is 1,280 miles. This tire will make it no problem.
Yeah.
Rides great in any terrain. It has a taller sidewall and a stiffer sidewall. Same with the front. The Shinko Fatty cannot be beat on this bike. Just gives you that peace of mind. And you can ride both with HD tubes, which I have in here right now, but I'm going to be switching out to bib mooses. And with the taller sidewalls and the stronger sidewalls, it adds a PSI or two of feedback when you're running a bib moose. So about a 15 PSI, and that really gives you the ability to have that peace of mind when you're on the highway.
Well, got a couple of little things here that you probably can't see from the camera, but I've done some close-ups of. We've got this little strip light indicator right here, and also these indicators around the fork tubes. Tell us where you got those from.
So I'm pretty proud of this, to be honest. This was a $12 find on Amazon, and it's probably a 5-inch LED strip. It's got an adhesive backing, well out of the way, and it matches perfectly to the Takamoto Co. fork wrap LED turn signals. And it really looks like a match set when it's on, and you can see in the video that you shot earlier of what it looks like, and it just really dresses up the bike. It's out of the way, you're not going to rip them off. I wanted a tidy rear end, so all I have is the license plate on the back. I took off all the turn signals and the extra, farkles and plastic that come, stock on the bike. So really wanted to clean up the back end, and I still can stay street legal, and you can still see the turn signals with the Tusk painters on the back. So it was a win-win for me.
So following along the theme of lighting, tell us about your headlight. That thing looks pretty cool.
The Baja Designs XL80, it doesn't get any better than that. I have the amber lens on the front too, just for added protection. And I like the amber lens, especially in low light. It gives you that additional terrain relief in front of you. You can see forever. It lights up the night. It's crazy how powerful these lights are now, and especially with LED, low pull on the bike, and it's mounted with the moto-minded dash.
Okay.
Which is great. I have a USB charger here. It relocates your turn signal and your ignition switch.
So Jeff, tell us a little bit about these swing arm protectors, and also you've got like this anodized rear brake disc.
So the that's exactly what they are. The Polisport swing arm protectors. This is the first time I've actually put these on a bike. I really like them, especially when you get into rocky sections. You don't have to worry about tearing up your swing arm. The protector takes the hit for you, and it looks good. And you can put your favorite vendor's stickers on here, yeah. Which I always like to dress it up. On the bottom there, I have just a standard KTM hard parts orange anodized brake disc protector. I had a buddy of mine who broke his off at one point in the backcountry, and trying to get it back, it became a challenge. So I always protect my rear brake disc, just to add a peace of mind.
All right, do you see anything else on here we need to talk about? I think we've covered everything.
You know, we could go for days, but you know, I affectionately call this bike the Money Pit. It definitely lived up to the name. I love it, and you know, when you purpose build a bike, Simon, you really get a tremendous amount of benefit out of it. This is a do-it-all. You know, I had a 300 XCW 6 days. I have a 1290 Super Adventure R. This 500 just sets right in the middle. It's really my Swiss Army knife bike. And you know, coming up here and being able to ride the technical Idaho single track like we do, and then hit I-84 on the back to my house, doing 70 miles an hour,
yeah.
It is really, really beneficial. And I tell you what, it's a delight to have. This is a do-it-all bike, and Mike Spurgeon at Takamoto, I can't say this enough. Your inspiration behind this and your informational videos, I think there are thousands of riders out here with 500s that owe you a debt of appreciation, and I'm no different. So this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you inviting me up today, Simon. Yeah. This is great. I look forward to seeing what you do, and let's go. You know, let's get out there and let's go ride.
Well, it's Friday right now, and I'm thinking about going riding tomorrow, so maybe we could connect and go ride. But thanks, Jeff, for bringing your bike out. Like I said, I saw it on Facebook, saw the photo. I'm like, I got to see that bike in person. So
well, here it is.
It doesn't disappoint.
Thank you.